Hi everyone, this is Radull Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about movies. Yes, how about that? And joining me is Aasif Karim, he who started, who runs, who manages, who owns the Kenya International Sports Film Festival. So Karim, first of all, Aasif, first of all, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Before we even talk about the Kenya International Sports Film Festival and this year's edition, tell us about your personal career in sport, because you come from a huge cricket family.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's a great pleasure to come here, and thank you for this invitation. I come from a very huge sporting family that has come to Kenya in 1926, so almost 96 years now, and 3 generations have played international sports for Kenya in 2 sports, tennis and cricket.
Oh, tennis as well?
Yes,
yeah.
So my father played international, then myself, now my son plays cricket internationally.
Fantastic for Kenya.
Yes, indeed.
And I've seen so many articles written about your family and cricket and putting Kenya on the cricket map. Now, how did you go from playing professional cricket to deciding, I want to start a Kenya International Sports Film Festival?
In fact, this concept started in 2010, 2011, when an Indian movie maker came to see me. His kids and my kids were studying in the same school. So we had an interaction, and one day he walked in and says, look, I think we should do a sports documentary on your family. My immediate reaction was a huge laughter, because Kenyan, me, documentary, it was not heard of. So he was very persistent, and long story short, we did a documentary that was then premiered, funny enough, in India, in New Delhi, where I was invited for a sports film festival. So I went with my wife, and as we were watching inspirational stories from around the world, it all of a sudden struck to me that these are great stories, but Kenyans have equally good, if not better. So at that time, I was also doing a coffee table book on the longer version of the family documentary. And I said, once I launch that, I'm going to take up this as a new project. And 2018 is when we started the film festival.
And so you recognize that there's so many sports stories not being told, and so many stories to be told.
Indeed, I think, normally in the business language, you say it's hanging fruit. I said, it's not hanging fruit, it's fruit on the table. Is ready to eat.
Eat it.
Eat it. There's so much work. I mean, we talk about unemployment. We talk about how to create jobs. There cannot be a better job than in the creative industry and in the sports industry. And if those two can be merged, even where the documentaries and movies and biopics come in, you're going to create an overnight sensation of jobs in this country.
Absolutely. So it comes to the first edition, 2018. Tell me about how you went into the preparation. How did you get people to enter? Because you were starting a new thing. There's no other sports international film festival in this world.
Well, there is
you were the
in
first.
Africa. Well, in Africa, there isn't any. We are the only ones doing that. And so when we plunged into it, of course, I took some ideas from the Indian guy who organized it. And then I collected a few of the Kenyans who are passionate about it. I spoke to them about it. We went in completely unknown. But we said we will just take it, and as it comes along, take advice, consult, and plunge in. And of course, if certain things go wrong, we'll try and improve it the following year. So the main thing was how to get the submissions in from around the world.
Yeah.
And so we realized there is a platform called Film Freeway, where you can submit movies, and they have a very huge global network. And so when we talked with them, they sent it out to the world, and averagely, every year we get over 1,200 submissions from well over 100 countries. Now look at when Kenya International Sports Film Festival, that means we are marketing Kenya in a big way. So that means 1,200 plus submitters know about Kenya. So it's also an indirect tourism for Kenya. So there's a huge byproduct benefits from what we are doing.
And those are submitters, viewers a lot higher, of course.
Indeed. In fact, well, COVID, the 3rd year, when we were about to cancel, like everything else was being postponed or cancelled, we came up with this idea that no, we need to find a solution. And remember, in those days, nobody knew about Teams and Zooms and all those other things. Now it seems like a normal thing. But so at that time, this idea came in, and we went online. And that year, in 2020, we had 25,000 followers on the festival of the 4 days. And last year, we had 139,000 followers. And of course, you being our brand ambassador this year, we are hoping to reach a 250,000 plus.
A 250,000 plus
That's the
viewers
target for this year for the 4-day event, because as we believe, sports brings people together and sports movies inspire. I mean, we've all seen a good sports movie.
Sports inspire. Sport
it's an
as a
inspiration.
sport itself.
Yes, indeed.
Because of what goes into being a good sportsman, the hard work, the dedication, the discipline.
Correct, absolutely. And it's a complete package. And then when you see the stories of other countries, you ask yourself that, Kenyans have done proud. I mean, I always give this example that when the Kenyans go to Olympic or to go to Commonwealth Games, we don't talk about will Kenya win gold this year. We talk about how many golds will Kenya win this year. We're so confident. We have so much history. I mean, you talk about people like Naftali Temu, Kipchoge Keino. When you talk to the young generation, sadly to say, they have no idea who they are. And I think it's a responsibility of this generation to advocate for these things, so that we must leave a heritage, we must leave a legacy for the next generation to know where our sports history has been, because we should be proud of what we have done.
I actually hosted Douglas Wakihuri here, and somebody asked, who is he? And I'm like, this is a sports, it's a sports fan who asked me, someone in his 30s, is telling me who's Douglas Wakihuri. I'm like, okay, we're doing a very bad job in telling these stories. So your first edition, you partnered, I think, with the French Cultural Center. So you managed to have a physical place to show the movies?
Yeah, the first year we had it at the National Museum.
Oh, sorry, at the National Museum.
The first year we had it at the National Museum. The second year we had the Signature Auditorium, which was in Westlands. And then, of course, COVID came in third year, fourth year. And now this year we're making it hybrid. We had a mini hybrid last year. So we're going to create the studio at my offices on James Gichuru Road. And of course, the online production will be on. Once again, we are also encouraging and supporting the young filmmakers. So last year the production was done by the Kenya Film School, who did a fantastic job. And this year also we are giving them the opportunity. So we are also empowering and giving opportunity to the young filmmakers, because that's your future. And we need to advocate to them now on the values of the creative industry and how sports can now be taken to a much higher level than the normal movies that we do make.
Yeah, and just to be clear, the movies will be streaming online, so from anywhere in the world.
Indeed, including when you're driving a car, you can watch it.
Please don't.
As long as
you'll crash, but it just means that it's
you can watch it online.
You can watch it online as well. I want us to take a break first, but when we come back from the break, I want us to go into exactly what dates there are this time. What can we expect around the film festival? And unfortunately, the deadline is over for entries, but in future, what people need to look out for if they want to submit their movies as well. And then also, if I feel I'm a sports person and I want a movie told about me, how can I go about that? That's something I think we never talk about.
It, yes.
So let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. This is Radull Live. I'm with Aasif Karim. Yes, a Kenyan international cricket sensation, now retired from active cricket, but taking it upon himself to tell and get people to tell sports stories. Of course, he started and runs the Kenya International Sports Film Festival. So this year's edition is coming up. Give us the dates of this year's edition.
Well, we're looking forward to the 5th edition, which is going to be from 27th of October to the 30th of October. It's a 4-day event. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And what can we expect in those 4 days?
Exciting movies, inspirational movies from around the world. You'll be amazed of the thing that touches me all the time is the movies that we get submissions from the differently abled athletes from around the world. And you see the hope that they create, that with the challenges that they have. I mean, I personally love those documentaries and those movies. So you should expect a lot of very good movies. We normally screen about 35 to 40. The jury does a very good job. We have a 3-layer jury. You know, we have a jury level 1 that filters the sports, the whatever the criteria are. The level 2 then does what I call the semi-finals, and then you have the level 3, which we comprise of Kenyans and international jury with very experienced people who then decide who the winners, the runners-ups are, and the good movies.
And the reason, just to explain, that we need the juries is because we've got how many entries?
Oh, we average over 1,200 every year. And this year we had, I think, 1,305.
1,305 and only 40 movies can show. Yeah. I wish you could watch all 1,305.
Well, but what happens out of those 1,000, many don't qualify, because if you're not a sports movie, that's the
automatically
you filter out. So we normally get about 200, 250 that qualify for the level 2 and level 3.
And what are the different categories that you take?
We show short documentaries, long documentaries, feature films, animation, and anything that the jury feels is exciting. We give about 15 awards, you know, where we give cinematography award, we give the best sound award, the best movie, and so many other categories that are there. But just to add on that, not only do we show those movies in those 4 days, we also have different panel discussions affecting Kenyan sports, global sports. For example, you would say women's empowerment through sports would be one subject this year we are having. We would talk about the importance of biopic, sports biopic, you know, where you talk about a story of a person who has inspired and has great results. So we have discussions on that. We have discussions on investigative sports documentaries. We have discussions on drugs, you know, doping issue. That's a major problem right now. So there are going to be about 14, 15 different subjects. And as I said, all this information will be available on our social media platforms. So if request people to join on all our social medias, and as the line is, tell a friend, tell a friend. Let's get more people involved.
KISFF.
Correct.
KISF. That stands for Kenya International Sports Film Festival. I'll also share the links as your official brand ambassador for 2022.
You. Yes, no,
so that people can follow, and then there'll be a program they can follow to know there's this movie at this time and this discussion at this time, because different people are interested in different aspects.
And this is, as I said, we'll have a very comprehensive program where you will know from this time to this time which movie is being shown, which discussions are taking place, and who are the panelists, who are the moderators. So we really spend a lot of time in identifying the experts in that particular field so that they can share their experience, they can share their volume. And the purpose then is to see how we can take it to a new level, on how we can create some kind of policies or some kind of discussions that we can talk about, make noise about it, because it must make
have
an
impact.
After
it must.
that,
you can't just watch and then that was nice.
That's not enough.
There has
we
to
need
be
to step it up.
Some level of follow through.
Absolutely.
And I know for a fact some of your panelists will be international sports people. Yes. Some of the moderators as well. I'm not sure if I'm moderating one. Maybe I am.
Yes, no, you are. You are moderating one. You are in the panel of a very interesting subject.
Yes, to be revealed. Go to their social media handles so that you'll find out which discussions I'll be participating in. But every single discussion for me is relevant for anybody who wants to get in sport.
Absolutely.
Because it's a 360. Sport is a 360. If you're talking about doping, it's relevant to everyone.
Absolutely.
If you talk about women in sport, it's relevant to everyone, to the different discussions. So do you have any, because a lot of these things need to be implemented by government, so do you invite them to also be part of the Sports Film Festival?
Yes, we do. We write, in fact, to all the ministries. When you look at sports, again, in my view, as you said, it's 360. I would say even at government level, it's a 360, because when you look at sports, the Ministry of Sports, you've got it's a business now, so Ministry of Trade. If you look at the filming and sports, Ministry of ICT comes in. So when you look at it, there's a lot of angle, but unfortunately, the Ministry of Sports has been the greatest letdown. Who unfortunately, and I'm very candid on my views, as you know, they don't even acknowledge correspondence. And that's a huge tragedy. But I'm looking forward to the new cabinet minister that has been nominated.
Ababu.
Ababu has
I've
been
been singing his name since he was nominated.
Yes, in fact,
yes, work.
I'm hearing he did a good job and he was the CAS. But there is a lot of work to be done in sports, and my views are very clear that we are only doing piecemeal solutions, and that's not helping. In my view, if I had to make a decision, I would say ban the entire sports in this country, all associations, all federations, get 16 to 18 competent people to reorganize this constitution, reorganize. We must live with the real world. We cannot live on the colonial constitutions. We must have professionals running it. You know, today, for example, in cricket, if you look at the people that have come in, with what background? I mean, because I'm conversant on that. They may not like what I say, but that's the reality.
It's the truth.
So I think it needs a holistic change. It needs to be given a very professional look, and because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And today, look at how many people have benefited. When you look at European League, you're talking huge money, not per month. The players are earning per day. I mean, some of us would not even earn that for 5 years, and they earn it in 1 week.
Yeah.
So we need to take it with the seriousness it deserves. It's not the yesteryear where sports was played as a hobby. As like your parents would say, can you go out, do some exercise, and you'll be healthy. That's part of it, but now it needs to step up.
Yet we manage it like a hobby.
Absolutely.
Now, I always tell Kenyans, like when Victor Wanyama was at Tottenham, he was the highest salaried Kenyan.
Indeed.
The highest salaried Kenyan. He was on like 15 million a month or something. Salaried, not allowances and the other perks and businesses. Salaried. And yet, here, I think the highest paid Kenyan, probably 150, 200,000.
And they struggle to get it.
And they struggled. I remember when Dennis Oliech, he's during his comeback at Gor Mahia, they put him on 300,000 a month. I think they paid him for 1 month, and then he struggled for his money for the rest of the period, and then had to quit.
Just to add something, if you allow me, is, I mean, we are so blessed in this country that we can have sports 365 days. The weather, the facilities, the infrastructure. You know, we have, and we have the biggest asset, which is the talent, because the records speak for itself. So if it just, you know, and again, it will help the manifesto of the president. The president is very keen to create jobs. Now, what better than sports and the creative industry, where he's phenomenally going to be a superstar if some serious issues are addressed there?
Actually, that's, I always say the number of people who can be hired in sports, not even just the sports people. The film festival is showing around the film festival.
Indeed.
That means you've given cameramen and soundmen and all these different types of people, editors, different types of jobs.
Absolutely.
To get involved. So what's your hope for the film festival going forward, the future editions, and in terms of the growth of sports films?
Thank you for that. First of all, I feel very good that over the years of the effort that my team has made, because this cannot be done individually. The concept was mine, but I want it to be a Kenyan-owned project for posterity. One thing that I'm very happy that IOC has recognized us, the International Olympic Committee has recognized the work that we are doing.
Oh, fantastic.
And one of the main concepts of this festival was for the Kenyans to realize that our unsung heroes need to be recognized. And you can recognize them by doing books on them, by doing documentaries on them, by doing feature films on them, because A, you're going to honor them, which they deserve. And secondly, you're going to create a heritage and a legacy for the future generations who are coming in to look at it as an inspiration. I mean, when we were young, we would look at foreigners as our inspiration. I think it's outdated now. Our Kenyans are more than good enough to be inspirations.
Now we can say we have a 100-meter world Commonwealth champion, you know.
Indeed. So, you know, so we need to have the creative industry look at it. We need to look at the sports industry to look at it, how we can merge these two. And I'm pleased to say that every year the Kenyans' submissions are increasing from Kenya. So the goal of what we are trying to do is work in progress. We are doing that, but I think we are ready to take off. I think if we can put those things together, I mean, I can easily give, and even if I talk to you, I mean, I can give you 100 stories right now that we can document, or we can do a documentary or a film. That
have never been documented.
And if I talk to you, you'll give me another 500, because you are so deeply engrossed in the work that you're doing that you for sure know how many stories we can do. So I think it's a collective effort. The seed has been plowed, the plants are coming out. It's now for us to work together and take it to a new level.
You know, I've been challenged I've been challenged to do more documentaries and and
Yes.
programming, because you're so right. The stories they're here on our doorstep,
Absolutely.
and we're not telling them.
Absolutely.
I know for a fact, and this is a little bit away from the film festival, you also have a newsletter that you release because you're so passionate about telling Kenyan sports stories. Where can people access the newsletter? Mostly online, because physically we don't do physically anymore.
I know. Yeah, one of the things that I felt as a sports person that I gained so much out of sports playing for the country that I felt I would like to give back to sports. And one of the things that I realized when we were traveling, you come out of the airport, you see billboards, and you go to the shops, you see magazines and you see books. But when you come to Kenya, hardly anything exists. So the first thing I wanted to, funny enough, we don't have any sports magazine. So I decided to do a sports magazine that we are publishing for the last 22 years. And it's complimentary.
At your cost.
At my own cost, and whatever little support that we get. Because I know Kenyans, we love money, but we also must be able to give back. And I'm going with that concept that my family over the last 100 years has enjoyed so much out of sports in Kenya that it is our responsibility to do that. And so the magazine was the first thing that I did. It's very challenging, as you know, publishing a magazine, but now we print and we also online. So all the past issues are online. sportsmonthly.co.ke
Sportsmonthly.co.ke
is on the website, and of course all social media platforms are there. I also write a column and express, like you, I express my views.
You have to read his column. You have to. You don't mince your words.
I candidly, because I'm passionate about it, and I think it's a responsibility of ours, where we always say, leave a place better than what you found. So I feel that whatever little contribution I can do, it can help ahead. And now the film festival has come in. That's phenomenally huge, not only as giving back, but look at the potential of jobs that can be created. Look at the stories that we can talk about our heroes. And if we don't do it, who is going to come?
It's almost angering, I mean, I don't want anyone to get angry, but it's frustrating to. It's not brain surgery. It's not difficult to see the opportunities in sport, the opportunities to grow, the opportunities to be self-sufficient and to give jobs and to make money. And there's money for everyone.
Absolutely.
There's no need for shady deals anywhere. No. There's legitimate money for everyone in sport.
Indeed.
So it must be so frustrating because it's not difficult to make that change. If you were to request one thing from this government, okay, apart from banning every federation, one realistic thing, because that's not going to happen, one realistic thing you can ask from this new government and the new sports minister, CS Ababuna Mwamba, what would it be?
I think he really needs to sit back, review where we are, and if he's very honest to the matter, which he looks passionate about it, I would appeal to him is to take a radical stand, disband everything in sports. Fine, we are talking about being banned here and there and all that. We are banned anyway. And
we're banned for football, and nothing has happened during the ban.
Yeah, we are so passionate about football, but even if we play, unfortunately our standards are so low. So are we keep on bickering about it? We need to look at how successful nations have done well in sports. We do not need to reinvent a wheel. We can borrow the leaf from them, tweak to our needs what we need. Every sport federation will have its needs. You tweak it, but create a very professional environment where people are accountable on the matter. Right now, it's so much of nepotism. It's so much of how you can wiggle your way through, unfortunately,
and what they can get out of it, as opposed to give.
Absolutely. And bottom line, most of them are what can they achieve, because and I'm talking this on the cricketing angle because I'm very clear on that and I have evidence on the matter, that most of the people who are fighting for these positions, if they don't get this position, they are actually tarmacking. They may not even get a job because they have no education skills, they have no professional skills on jobs, and that's the reality of the matter. But if you look at their skills on professionalizing and running the association, most of them would struggle to pass the test.
Tell me about because your foundation is called Safina's Foundation. What opportunities are they giving to sports filmmakers?
Yeah, as it is, the film festival is done by Safina's Foundation. Of course, like any foundation, it has its challenges. We put our own resources and like-minded people join us. So one of the other concepts that I would like to see how we can do is how we can support filmmakers, documentary producers, on doing the sports documentaries in Kenya. And so we look forward to some pitching to be done by potential filmmakers. And we will see whether we can support, because I know documentaries normally I have an idea the budgets on that, and so let's look at how we can work together with the filmmakers to try and support it, and we'll try and engage other people to come in.
Yeah, because cost is a limiting factor for many people with the talent.
Correct.
To get that. So I guess go to the social media handles, KISFF, Kenya International Sports Film Festival, and I'll share the links as usual so that any young filmmakers out there can see how they can get in touch with you.
Correct. Just remembered something else. I'm on the board of Kenya Film Commission, though my term is now coming to an end next month. But that's another area where we've been advocating of what we call an empowerment fund, where the Kenya Film Commission gives in the year about between 80 to 100 million to filmmakers with different stories. So we've managed to put sports in it also. So that is also a growing area, and I'm hoping that with the new board coming in, that they will take it to also a much higher level.
I don't want to end on that note. Let's remind people about the film festival. Guys, it's from the 27th
October to the 30th of October. Some very inspiring stories to watch. The jury have given me some indication that they are wow stories. And as I said, we get from over 100 countries. And this year the leading submissions came from the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Wow.
Yes, and second was India. Normally it's India who leads, and Iran comes second, and then you've got other countries coming in. Kenyans have also submitted, so we look forward to some exciting movies. And I think it should be good fun.
Panel discussions around the movies, and of course the link will share it far and wide to make sure as many people as possible.
Well, remember the target is 250,000. So we're looking at the brand ambassador to help us there.
And then you put me after Rudisha and Tekla Lorupe. Those are the brand ambassadors for other editions, surely, Aasif.
No, you have earned it, Carol, with your passion also in sports. Not that I need to flatter you, but you have a huge following who respect your views, who listen to you. And I think we are proud that you are our brand ambassador, and we really look forward to your continued support and contribution to this festival.
I thank you, Aasif. I thank you. It's a pleasure working with you guys. Okay, that's another discussion for afterwards. But guys, I hope you've heard what Aasif Karim has said about the Kenya International Sports Film Festival. We can discuss sport forever and get so angry, but we need to take action. Action is what will make the difference. It's what will make this matter. But I thank you for watching Radull Live, and make sure we catch up at either Aristocrat's House on James Gishuru opposite St. Austin's, or online. We will share the links to make sure that you see these movies. And then next year, let's have even more entries. Challenge to self from Kenya especially, yeah. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Aasif, for dropping by, and we'll see you again next week for another edition. Bye-bye.